Alrighty, we're back. We've done 5 minutes. Now there's another part to this thing with the 12 characteristics. Now I want you to spend a minute or two and you go through and look at the ones where you have more. Do I have more honesty than dishonesty? Then you circle the fact that you're honest. And are you more jealous or trusting? If you have more things over here in the trust area, you circle that one. So go through and for everyone you circle the one that most applies to you. It doesn't have to be perfect, but mostly applies to you. Let's take 2 minutes and do that. Okay, I think we have some good stuff done on there. And Betty, can you put up the 4th step resentment prayer? I'm so glad Betty is here. It was up where you were on the right. 4th step prayer. Can you zoom? You're a genius. I know you're tired of hearing that. Can you zoom anymore? Oh, and everybody needs to unmute. I muted a couple people while we're doing the writing. Because we're going to do this prayer in unison for everyone who wants to. Can everybody read that?
No.
How about now? Oh, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's vastly better, vastly better. That's excellent.
Yeah, great.
All righty, we're going to do the 4th step prayer in unison. Prayer. I am to sit quietly when in doubt, asking only for direction and strength to meet my problems as He would have me. Never am I to pray for myself, except as my requests or on my usefulness to others. Then only what I expect to receive. But that would be a great measure. Excellent, excellent. Let's give ourselves a hand because we've done step 4. All righty, we're on to step 5. Now we're going to do a group discussion now. Let me get my little paper out to write things down. Please give a 1-word description of your life being abstinent. And I would say happy.
I'd say content.
Content.
I would say,
Peaceful.
I would say freedom.
Freedom. It can be more than one word, but we want short.
Clarity.
Clarity.
Then I would have changed mine to beyond my wildest dreams.
Beyond my wildest dreams. Okay.
Miracle.
Miracle. For me, I would put disciplined. Anybody else? For description of your life being abstinent.
I had said peaceful.
Peaceful, that's good. There are no wrong answers here, by the way. I would say a lower anxiety level.
Renewed health.
Renewed health, that's good. I would also put in there freedom from guilt. Anyone else? Alrighty, we're going to move to another group discussion. This kind of our group discussion is, how was your fifth step? And I'll start it out that when I did my first fifth step, I remember I was petrified, and I gave it to a woman who's unfortunately left the room. She's no longer in the program, but she was my sponsor at the time. And I was petrified to do my first step. And wow, I felt tremendous when I was done. I was relieved. And all the promises in the big book, the fears had fallen from me. I could be alone in perfect peace and ease. It was great. For me, I was surprised at how much I liked it. Would anyone else want to share about their experience doing their first step? Or their fifth is what I meant to say.
I'll share. Mine was very serene, very calming. I too felt like a lot of freedom afterwards. It was like, I was talking about, like, even though I'd lost a tremendous amount of weight, I'd given away a lot of weight, that was the most freeing experience. It was a true moment of acceptance from another person.
Excellent.
I felt closer to God afterwards. I went to several different people before I really finished my fifth step. I went to my psychologist. He already knew everything. I went to a priest. I held back stuff. And then I went to an OA conference, and there was a guy there that was a sex addict. And so I went and told him stuff that I was holding back on. And once I did that, the freedom came and the belief that I was standing in the sunlight of the Spirit. Thank you.
Excellent. Anybody else? Okay, we have another subject for discussion, and that's about hearing someone's fifth step. And I've heard a few fifth steps, not many, but I've heard some. And for me, it's always nice to hear someone's fifth step. It's nice to be a part of their recovery. And I'm reminded of what I've heard a lot of people say, that we're really all the same. And many times you hear a fifth step and you hear the same thing that you've heard many times before. And for me, it's a wonderful thing to be able to help somebody in their recovery.
When somebody asks me to do their fifth step with them, I always feel very honored that I'm seen as somebody that they could trust, because they're telling me things that to them are their deepest, darkest secrets that they felt they could never ever share with somebody. So for them to open it up to me, I feel shows a great level of trust and respect. So it's something that always makes, I'm grateful and I always try to express that gratitude, but it always makes me too a little proud of myself, because I wasn't always that person. And that's something this program has taught me how to be, is, it goes back to that list, a trustworthy person, because they know, because when you hear a fifth step, it stays with you. You can't go and then call and say, guess what, so-and-so just told me. That's not what that's about. It's about being a sounding board, and it's a great honor to hear a fifth step.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Anybody else want to share about hearing a fifth step?
I feel like hearing a fifth step is very humbling, because someone is sharing private, confidential information with me, personal information about them, their lives. Some of what they may be sharing may have been very traumatic to them at one time. It may not only be about things they've done, but things that have been done to them. And I feel closer to my higher power. I feel closer to God, and like I need God even more when I'm hearing a fifth step, because, the same understanding, unconditional love, mercy, and forgiveness that has been extended to me, that I hope is extended to me, from my higher power. It's like I'm trying to represent that when I'm hearing a fifth step. The person has done the work, and maybe I might be giving suggestions for further step work from there. But a lot of what I feel like I'm doing is I'm just being like a silent, respectful, caring witness to another human being, like just facing up to things in life, in themselves. And it's very powerful for me and very humbling. And I feel like when I hear them talking about it, and I haven't heard a lot of fifth steps, but I feel like people that I've listened to do a fifth step, even if it was their first time, the way that they express things at times had surprising amounts of clarity and insight, and I learned from them. And I was really grateful for that too. It just really was very, it was a very significant part of my recovery. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to share about hearing a fifth step? Actually, we're a real cool workshop. You could share about something else.
I can share a little bit. I've heard fifth steps, but not in OA. In another 12-step program, I've heard a lot of women's fifth step, and I think the same things that everyone was saying. We are all the same, you know. We're the same, and whatever things that I wrote on my fourth step, the same woman was telling me the same things in a different way, maybe different circumstances, but it's kind of like when I tell my kids, when you go to confession, you know, the priest has heard everything. Well, we've heard everything in 12-step programs, and there's nothing that's going to be surprising, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's the holding back part. I've had a few women that have held back, and not that I knew when they were doing that, but they would come back a little bit later saying, well, I really didn't want to say this. And I think to find someone that you trust, that they're not going to judge you. I think that's one of the main things that this 12-step program teaches me is I have no reason to judge anybody else. And to get it out. And it just like sitting here writing this 4-step that we just did. I found out something about myself writing this 4-step out again. And I have been in OA more recently, a few years, but I've been in 12 steps for 13, 14 years. And I've written many 4 steps. And I knew from what I was saying the other day, when I heard myself saying something, even this morning, I thought, I really need to write about that. So thank you for that chance to do it. Anyway, the 5th step, there's nothing to be scared of on it. And I can't even remember the stuff that women have told me. I wouldn't even be able to say, oh yeah, I remember. I can't. Somehow God, I think, shields us that we don't remember it. That's all. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And I think I've mentioned this before, but this is an open workshop. It's mainly 99% OA people, but anybody is welcome at this workshop. Anybody's welcome here. Anyone else?
I belong in OA.
Anyone else want to share about hearing a 5th step?
I do. I used to live in an area where there was a treatment center. And so part of my service was to go out and listen to 5th steps out there. And I tried to be non-judgmental and to just be, a channel to my higher power for them. And there have been many people I never saw again. Then there were people that I ran into places, and they would come up to me and say, you took my 5th step. And I would be like, I don't remember that. Like somebody was talking about, that God must have shielded them from me, But then there were others that they became my sponsees. And then several of them that had been my sponsee for years, talking 8 years, and that was a tremendous blessing in my life as a result of doing this step with someone. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share on hearing a 5th step or on giving, either one?
Hi, I'm Desiree, compulsive overeater.
Hey, Desiree.
I'm so grateful to be here. Everything that could possibly go wrong today is going wrong, And I just want to say I'm grateful that I can call into this and feel some sanity. And yeah, and see some familiar faces and know that I'm with people that are going through the same thing I'm going through. I'm in New Orleans right now and I have a flat tire and it's just a nightmare. And I just want to claim my seat. Thank y'all for letting me share.
That's right. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. And I need to mention we're recording this. We're going to put it on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Anyone else want to share about hearing the fifth step or giving their fifth step?
No, I'm Anna, compulsive reader, and when I came in OA, which has been 42 years ago, I was a little scared about doing that, but I really had gotten to know my sponsor really well, and it was not a hard thing to do at all. And once I did that, it was very easy to accept myself as I am. And so I was very grateful for having that opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Anyone else? Alrighty, we're going to go on. We're going to have a chance for you all to share more stuff later. And of course, now your fourth step, you share that with your sponsor. We don't share that here. Sponsor or religious person or someone you trust. A lot of this is in the back to basics that I went to in southern Mississippi. Thinking is bad, writing is good. After you hear a fifth step, ask this one question. Did you leave anything out? Next, you tell the person who gave you their fifth step, you are a good person who has suffered from the disease of compulsive overeating. I forgive you, and God forgives you. Now, we're getting to some more reading out of the big book. I get a little turned around as to where we're supposed to read. This is on page 72. And I'll just read for a little bit. Having made our personal inventory, what shall we do about it? We've been trying to get a new attitude, a new relationship with our Creator to discover the obstacles in our path. We have admitted certain defects. We have ascertained in a rough way what the trouble is. We have put our finger on the weak items in our personal inventory. Now these are about to be cast out. Now they had me underline in my book, now these are about to be cast out. This requires action on our part, which when completed will mean that we have admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our defects. This brings us to the fifth step in the program of recovery mentioned in the preceding chapters. And then we skip a couple lines. There is doubt about that. In actual practice, we usually find a solitary self-appraisal insufficient. So, and they also have me underline the sentence, in actual practice, we usually find a solitary self-appraisal insufficient. Many of us thought it was necessary to go much further. We will be more reconciled to discussing ourselves with another person when we see good reasons why we should do so. The best reason first. If we skip this vital step, we may not overcome drinking. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives.